Good morning and welcome to the first new comic book day of Wednesday, and what a doozy of a day we have in store for you.
It's of April. It's not of Wednesday.
This is the Maxx Super Awesome Comic Review Show!
Comic Review Show!
Comic Review Show! I do not remember the last time I was this excited about any DC events, let alone 3 of them in one day, which was pretty fantastic. We also had a whole host of number 2s from Marvel that I was really excited about. We had Moon Knight, which was fantastic, and that series has just been... Warren Ellis is killing it on that series. There was a Punisher number 4, which came out. There was Starlight number 2, which we reviewed a couple of weeks ago. Still a fantastic series. But there were so many amazing new books this week that I didn't have time to really review any of the second go-arounders, so we're just going to jump right in with some runners-up. And first on the runners-up list, I know that this one is going to be flying off the shelves today. It's Deadpool versus Carnage. Pretty much sums it all up right there. It's the merc with the mouth and the serial killer. And then they decide that they're going to have a little battle. And it's got like a little twist ending to it. And, you know, it's like that classic who would win in a fight, Deadpool or Carnage. Well, they're going to answer it in this comic right here. So it was cool. And second on the runners-up list, I really didn't know what to think of this, but it was the What If Age of Ultron. I ended up really liking it. Hank Pym's always been one of those characters that I kind of want to die. Like, yeah, just kill him because he keeps ruining everything for everybody. But this issue actually made me find some humanity in him and a little bit of remorse for him, and just the things that he goes through in this book are pretty awful. So if you enjoyed the Age of Ultron comic, I would highly recommend picking this one up. If you didn't read Age of Ultron, you can still read this one because it's a what if. It's like totally out of place with the rest of the series. This one, speaking of books that I was really excited for, Superman Action Comics number 30. This is the prelude to the Superman Doomed story arc, which is kicked off in this issue and is going to be carrying on for the next couple of months across all the Superman titles. Really cool. There's like an organization that Superman runs into, which reminds me a little bit of what Checkmate used to be in the old DC universe. And there's a really awesome dialogue between Superman and the leader of what's called just the Tower. And she basically tells Superman, you have no place on Earth. You're too powerful to know what to do with your powers, and you're not hard enough. You're too powerful to know what to do with your powers, and you're too soft to make the hard decisions. Go away and leave protecting the world to the big boys. Which, anybody that can stand up to Superman and say that to his face gets mad props, in my opinion. So that was a fantastic book. The other DC event tie-in that I was really excited about, didn't know it was a tie-in, was Aquaman and the Others number 1. And I was reading this book and it was cool. It's Aquaman and the Band of the Others, who, you know, fairly recent creation and new addition to the DC universe. They're all quasi-superheroes that have Atlantean artifacts that Aquaman kind of watches over. But what really got me about this book was on the final page, there's a prelude to the new weekly series that's coming out starting very soon here, which is called DC's Future's End, which I was not really sure what to make of that, and based on the artwork at the final pages of this book, I can say that there's a certain satellite that is coming back into the DC universe that many of you will probably remember from Infinite Crisis. Very excited for that. And now, on to the top 5. At number 5, speaking of number 1s, it is Inhuman number 1. This is the newest Marvel event. It was very cool. I give the creative team behind this a lot of respect and props. They put this book together on some pretty short notice. There were some issues around scheduling and who was actually going to be working on this book early on. They managed to put together a pretty impressive book, all things considered. I'll definitely be reading the second issue. I'm invested in the Inhumans. I'm invested to see what happens with all of these characters, and there's a lot of mystery going on in this book. It's Charles Soule. He was doing Superman and Wonder Woman, which I'm really enjoying that book, and he took over Swamp Thing after Scott Snyder left. And has been doing a really good job with that, so it's cool to see him over at Marvel working on some different characters and doing some different stuff. I'm excited to see where it goes. Did I mention I was excited?
A little bit.
I think I covered that one. At number 4, from Image Comics, it was The Field number 1. And words fail me to describe this book. As soon as you think you have it figured out, all of a sudden there's cocaine in a diner and dead bodies everywhere and biker gangs that might be the good guys and crazy whacked out religious nuts that might be the bad guys, and I don't know, it's all over the place, but it is definitely a roller coaster of a book. It's a super quick read, but you're flying through it so fast, you get to the end and you're like, wait a minute, and you have to like go backtrack a couple pages, look at some things in a different light, and then, you know, more pieces of the jigsaw puzzle start to come into view. It was a lot of fun to read, and I really anticipate reading the rest of that series.
1 of 4.
It's 1 of 4. Yeah, it'll be a nice, short, quick, in and out kind of thing, which I really like. Same with this one. Oh yeah, Shotgun Wedding, full of pretty much. How did you describe this one?
All the camp you wanted it to be.
Yes.
I just liked it a lot.
Yeah.
It's kind of Mr. and Mrs. Smithy, but like.
Also a little bit of Kill Bill in there.
Little Kill Bill.
Yeah, and the artwork was really cool. This is definitely one of my art picks for the week. But Bride gets left at the altar by super assassin boyfriend, fiance.
I'm pretty sure she's a super assassin.
She is also a super assassin, but I think she's like an evil super assassin, and he's like a CIA super assassin.
See, but we're only getting his side of the story from people.
Right. But I mean, she's like.
So she might be.
She might be okay.
She might be the good guy, and he might be the bad guy. We just don't know.
We don't know yet, and that's honestly one of the great parts about this book. The other thing that I really liked about it, going back to the art, is super refreshing to see super crisp, super awesome black and white art in a really fast-paced action book. Like, you don't see it all the time, and sometimes when you see it, you're not super happy that it's in black and white. And
I felt like it fit the mood.
It so fit the mood. It was fantastic. At number 2, I'm so happy I could finally talk about a Batman book, because it was fantastic. It was Batman number 30. It was the start of the Icarus story arc. It's a brand new creative team, the guys that were rocking the Flash since the beginning of the New 52. I was really excited at first when they announced that these guys were going to be working on it, because I love his art and I love their writing. Like I said, they're doing a fantastic job on the Flash. And then I read the synopsis. They're like, Batman hunts down new villain called the Squid. And I was like, I'm out. I'm done. It's the Squid. I can't do it. Turns out, Squid's pretty cool. And the book was fantastic. And most refreshingly of all, there was no Man-Bat anywhere to be found in it. It seems like everywhere I've turned for the last 3 months with Batman, it's been Man-Bat, 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 Man-Bat. No more Man-Bat. Man-Bat is gone. We can move on. And it is a bold new start, which is the very first sentence of the book. Coming in at number 1 this week, it's Ultimate Comics Spider-Man issue number 200. And, wow. What a heart-wrencher. Just, this book was firing on all cylinders. The story behind it is, it's the 2nd anniversary of Ultimate Peter Parker's death, and so the whole Parker family gets all of Peter Parker's friends together at his old house to like celebrate his life, and they all like swap stories, and there's a really awesome scene where Miles Morales' somewhat fat and nerdy friend gets to kiss Gwen Stacy. It's right there for all the nerds. I will be entirely honest and say that I have not read all of Ultimate Spider-Man, and the fact that this book could still just suck me completely into it, not knowing everything that was going on with all the characters and their previous dynamics, I think is a tremendous statement to the amount of care and dedication that went into this book, and I can't say enough good things about it, and it is hands down the number 1 book this week. I think that's going to do it for our top 5 this week. It was short and sweet, but we got a special guest. We got Foxy in the house, so we're going to get to a cutaway, and then we're going to come back with Foxy, who's going to be breaking down two books that kind of coincide. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be very exciting. Don't go anywhere. Excitement abounds. Is it going to be exciting? I don't know. I hope it's exciting.
Got away.
It's a fox. You never know what he's going to do.
Bring up the volume.
All right, welcome back. We got Foxy in the house. What's up, Foxy?
Oh, just chilling.
Chilling. Awesome. We brought you in to talk about some new books. One of them came out last week. One of them came out this week. We decided to hold over so we could do them both at once. Did it work out for us?
No, it makes perfect sense.
Makes perfect sense. What books are we talking about?
We're talking about Buffy Vampire Slayer Season 10. And Angel and Faith Season 10 starts here. There weren't really 10 seasons of Angel and Faith.
I was going to say, I don't remember them being on that long.
But we're in Buffy Season 10. That's what's important.
Yeah. So I'm going to start with a recap of Season 9, right?
Yeah,
get everybody caught up.
Ultimately, here's my take on this. This book feels like a Season 1 in a way. It's like bringing the team together again for the first time in a way.
It's got like that Justice League United feel to it.
Yeah, I think even if you're not super familiar, if you know the concepts, the characters, basics, you can like pick up this season 10 number 1 of both issues, and they really interact super well together. There's a lot of slaying in this first issue.
All the slayings.
There's a lot of slayings. Not all of them. There's plenty more to come.
And how do these books coalesce together? Do they jive?
They jive super well. There's a scene at the end of Buffy that takes place in the middle of Angel and Faith, and you get to see, in the Buffy one, you see it from Buffy's perspective, and in the Angel and Faith one, you see it from Faith's perspective.
Clever.
It's, it's not super meta or anything, but it works super well. There's some direct retread as far as dialogue, but for the most part, it's totally different perspectives on the same battle. It's really cool. Angel and Faith Season 9, actually, I preferred to Buffy Season 9. It was, in part, because Rebecca Isaac's art was just really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool likenesses. And then the fill-in issues were by Chris Samney, who is actually going to be doing the variant covers for Angel and Faith Season 10 now.
Is that what this one is?
No, that's the main okay. Cover, the A cover. He did do a variant for issue 1, but... the art on both books. Oh, so I mentioned Rebecca Isaacs did Angel and Faith Season 9 interior arts. She has actually moved to the Buffy main title. Really cool.
Promotion.
Yeah, she's moving on up in the world.
Yeah.
Deservedly so. It's a step up. It's awesome. And the artist who's doing the interiors on Season 10 Angel and Faith, I don't remember by name right now. But their likenesses are so good. Will Conrad. Will Conrad is killing it.
Yeah.
Really, really great. Likenesses, pretty, super realistic. Not quite photorealistic, but close. It's up there, man. It's really good art. Both of these books, killing it on art. And nice. Story.
Nice.
Dialogue. Character moments. And it's really, really capturing that classic Buffy feel that I think the comics have, to a certain extent, been lacking up till this point. I'm really excited. This is a very strong start for this season.
I know the fan reaction to it has been really strong for Buffy last week, and I'm very eager to see what Angel and Faith does this week.
Yeah, I think it's going to go well, and for people that might want to follow one or the other, I think they did a good job of tying them so closely together that you really do want to read both.
Yeah. And Foxy, you had one other book, so we'll just segue right into graphic novels from this, because you had a graphic novel this week.
There's a couple under me that I'm very interested in. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, go do your thing. I'll jump in when I need to.
Oh, okay. We'll stop right on your timetable now, I see.
You want me to do mine first?
No, it's alright. I'll do mine first. Okay. I've already passed on it.
Okay.
Alright. One of the graphic novels that I'm very excited for this week, we'll start down here. It's called The Sleep of Reason, an anthology of horror. Now, this is a pretty hardcore indie book from an art standpoint and a story standpoint, but what really captured my attention about it was the back cover says no zombies, no vampires, no werewolves, no familiar solutions, and no safe havens. So they took 26 all new original horror comics from 34 different creators, and they just really let these 34 people's imaginations run wild. If you could create a monster or a horror story that nobody's ever been familiar with, what would that look like? What would that feel like? What would the solutions be for it? And just flipping through it rather briefly and reading just a little bit here or there, really cool stuff. Very exciting.
Really cool Michael DeForge cover, too.
Yeah. The cover was fantastic as well. It's almost worth it just for the cover.
Totally.
Another book that I'm really excited about. This is a Vertigo #1. It's called Hinterkind. I immediately fell in love with this book reading the first issue. I've been eagerly awaiting this one so I can get people back onto reading the monthlies. But essentially, the entire human race has been nearly wiped out in the course of 7 months, and the world has been sort of reborn as a very wild, primitive state. But on top of that, it turns out that all the things that you would think are folktales and fairy tales, they're all kind of real, and all those creatures, elves, gnomes, trolls, they all just kind of went into the background as humans took over the entire planet. And now that humans are gone, they're starting to come back out, and it turns out that one of the favorite things to eat is people.
Of course.
And now
delicious.
Now there's a lot less. What?
Don't look at me like that.
Don't be looking at my ribs like that. Those are my ribs.
I got sharp teeth. What do you think these are for?
Salads.
rending meat from bone.
Yes, foxes, most vicious of all animals. God, bad fox. Hey, trying to do a show here.
It's cool, man.
So, Hinterkind is the story of a young woman and some friends that set off to rescue a town that's on the other side of like the state from where they are, where her uncle lives, and they sort of get enveloped into this larger mythical creature power struggle as now these former titans try and recapture their fallen planet. And whoa, right out from under your nose. What kind of fox are you now? Another book that I'm really excited about. It's not brand new. This book has been out before, but it is out in a new edition. It's called A God Somewhere. Fantastic book about a man that discovers one day is gifted superpowers and what the world's reaction is to that and his journey along. And some people accept him as a savior, and some people want him to like lift humanity to these new heights. Some people think that he's just a rock star. And it's sort of man, what was that Jim Carrey movie where he was just like his life was all on television?
Was it Yes?
Truman Show?
Truman Show.
Yeah, The Truman Show. Yeah, it's like that, except he's got superpowers. Fantastic books, definitely groundbreaking. One of those books you get 2 pages into it and you're going to be reading it all the way through.
What's directly under me?
The Labyrinth.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, this new beautiful printing of Jim Henson's The Labyrinth, a novelization. Yes.
Yeah, totally, man.
Yeah. So wonderful, beautiful hardcover novelization of the famous story. And what's really cool about this, that Foxy pointed out to me,
Sketch pages and notes handwritten by Jim Henson. Sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, I mean you
Go
executed
ahead.
that perfectly.
There's
No.
also Brian Frood illustrations in the back too.
Yes, no, there are some beautiful illustrations for it. I mean, and it's a great book. It's a great story. It's a classic. It's the Labyrinth. Come on, everybody's childhood should involve the Labyrinth. So, very excited that that's out. And then you had something else that you came in all pumped to talk about.
The new Marvel OGN, Amazing Spider-Man
What's an
Family
OGN?
Business. Oh, OGN is nerd for original graphic
There
novel.
we go. We got gotta break it down.
Yeah.
I'm like slow on these things. Come on.
I know.
Keep it
I'm
simple
here for
me.
you.
All right, I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
When you're not trying to eat me. But
yeah.
this one particularly, we agreed was.
It's
Beautiful.
the best one. The best one they've released
Amazing.
so far. This is their third OGM at Marvel with this new line, and best yet, man. The writers, it's co-written by Mark Waid and James Robinson.
Could you possibly? I mean, you could. I mean, you might be able to come up with 2 writers that are like
On the level.
right, but
But not really better.
no.
And then the painted interiors by Gabriel Dell'Otto they're just really second to none.
We can't really spoil too much about this book because there's
Right up front, no, I mean, really, right when we're introduced to her, we know who she is.
okay. Well,
The thing that's cool about this book is it's introducing a new Parker family member.
yes.
And it's a sister that you never knew he had. So,
And it's got
That's
the
it.
Kingpin.
and it's got the Kingpin. I don't know, I'm not gonna spoil. Haven't really.
Yeah, I haven't really spoiled too much. I mean, like it's like 2 pages. In the
Yeah,
book,
that's in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then what happens next? I don't know because I haven't finished it yet, but I'm excited to.
It's a graphic novel. These things take a little bit of time, and it
Little
only
bit.
came out a couple hours ago.
Little
So
But
well, you're working with it.
check it out.
Yeah.
We'll see some interior pages. Right,
It is.
Catfish?
It's
You
a
got the
beautiful book.
interiors.
We did get interiors.
Thanks, Catfish.
We'll have interiors.
You're the best, Catfish. Okay.
How come you never try and eat him? He's a
Because
fish.
he does me good, you know? He shows my good side.
I can understand that actually.
Yeah, you know.
I think that'll do it for our graphic novel segment. And, yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. But stay tuned. We'll have some brief exiting words of the show.
Words of the show.
Words of the show. Well, before we get out of here and get back to enjoying our new comic book day, I do want to talk about just one other little thing. It's really one of my favorite parts about working in a comic book store in Albuquerque, and it's probably the same way, in comic book stores everywhere else. But my experience has been Albuquerque has a huge amount of individuals trying to self-publish and self-create their own books. And one of my favorite ones just put out the newest edition of his comic book journal. His name is Soto, and his comic book journal is called Now What? And I'm a big fan of this guy's art. I have a couple of his prints that he's done separately. He does some movie posters around town and stuff. But mad props for this guy. He is one of the most hardest working self-publishers I can possibly think of. Every week I talk to him. He's like, yeah, working on a new book, working on a new book, working on a new book. So definitely check out Now What. It's a free book. It's like a little zine that basically documents like a month of his life. This one is January 2013, so a little bit behind. The other cool thing that I wanted to mention about this is that he actually got invited to the Contemporary Hispanic Market. It's just sort of a big hoity-toity art festival. That'll be in July, so I would definitely encourage anyone in the area to go down there, check it out, support Soto's work, say hey, what's up to him, and get to your local comic book shop in Albuquerque and check out Now What. And that will do it for our words of the show. Come back next week. We will be talking about more new books and, I don't know, some other stuff. I'm sure we'll think of something. Good night. I'm not going to say stay frosty, even though I said it anyway.